What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer, taking a look at probably the best deck, and pretty obviously the best deck of Rush Duels in my opinion. And maybe I'll do a lot more content on it now that I've finally made it to King of Games, and I can kind of do a retrospective on everything and my experience here in Rush Duels. But in any case, today I'm going to be focusing in on, this Dragon deck, and it is obviously extremely good, and basically just helped me climb in basically like a day and a half to get to King of Games. So I'm going to go ahead and go card by card here. One copy of Dragonic Slayer. Never needed more than 2 copies. I also do run Hammer Crush to destroy a spell and trap card. People do run the trap, and I do run 1 copy, but some people get way overboard with it, and this is a game-winning card. It's 2300 attack. It's one of the best tributes. There are so many broken cards in Dragon that are just so much better than every other archetype. And like Dragon has 3 cards that I would consider busted in any archetype, and there are 3 of them in this deck specifically, and I think that's why, most people pretty much are running this exact same list, I would imagine, or something really, really close to it, and I'll talk more about the skill at the end too. 2 copies of Multistrike Dragon. It is on the limit 3 list, so I do run 2 copies, and I also run just 1 copy of Phoenix Dragon. You could run the 3rd copy of the Multistrike Dragon, but I do like the flexibility of the Phoenix Dragon. It works really, really well with the Raigeki effect. And that's pretty much how it works. 2 copies of Piercing Dragon Bunker Strike. This is, again, when I talk about those list of extremely broken cards in any archetype, this is 100% one of them. The fact that you can play this card and it synergizes with Dragonic Resonance is absolutely busted and broken. This is maybe, if not the, outside of Multistrike Dragon, I would say it's probably like the best card in Rush Duels. Being able to, if your opponent has a full board, right, draw 3 cards. It's Saryuja. A Saryuja type effect is so broken in Rush Duels, and then the fact that you can either put it on the top or the bottom just makes it even more broken. Not even Saryuja is like that, so that's pretty insane. Let's go to Gravity Press Dragon. This again helps with the skill, helps you get over those bigger monsters. Definitely one of the best 1 tribute. You'll see people playing this in generic pile decks, which are obviously very popular too. So 2 copies there. 2 copies of Triad Drago. It's okay. I mean, it has 1300 defense, which is decent. It's not the worst thing ever in Duel Links, or in Rush Duels, excuse me. And it does every once in a while help you draw a card, so that's always good. And especially, if you pair it with the one I just talked about here, the Piercing Dragon Bunker Strike, obviously it's even better, right? Because every card you have in your hand is just an opportunity to see more cards from your deck, which is very, very good. 3 copies of Slugger. This is pretty standard, and 3 copies of the other one, which I'll talk about. They basically just special summon themselves. They lock you out of attacking with 7s, but that's the main goal of the deck, is to get level 7s on the board. 3 copies of Twin Edge Dragon. Another one of those cards that I'm talking about is stupid busted. By itself, it's okay, right? Being able to attack twice is unbelievably powerful in Rush Duels, but the fact that you get to then give it 500 attack, which means it can get over any face down card which hasn't been tributed in the game. The highest defense for any monster in defense position is 1400. Resonance helps you get over that, and then also attack directly. If you're not playing a Dragon deck and you're playing Pile, you definitely want to play the Psychic Guitar one that helps everything gain attack, because then you just get like a huge beater as a normal summon. This card is absurd. It's amazing because you have Multistrike in this. You're attacking multiple times directly for sure. And then here we go. That's the other one I was talking about. Slugger and Pitcher. 3 copies of each. 3 copies of Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress #1. It's 1400 attack. It's okay. It's definitely one of the weaker parts of the deck if you really care. It's mostly just tribute fodder, if not always. But it does get up to 1800 attack, which is pretty good when you think of Dragon Resonance. Or actually 1900. 3 copies of Dragarite. This is your 1500 attack beater. Very cool. Definitely one of the better vanillas in the game, I guess. 3 copies of Tiny. This is 1400 defense. Like I said, this is the top level that you can get for a normal monster. 1 copy of Hammer Crush, and 2 copies of Dragonic Pressure, and then 1 copy of Phantom Bind. This is one of the more popular cards in the game, but to be honest with you, I think you could drop this easily, and I would never ever play it at more than 1. It will win you a duel. I always say, this is the way I'd like to think about this card. It will win you a duel sometimes, but for every win that it gives you, it'll lose you 3 times, because your opponent will have Hammer Crush, your opponent will have this and that, and if you have too many back row and your opponent's playing Hammer Crush, you're just going to get picked off. And if your opponent is playing Hammer Crush and you're not playing a lot of spells and traps, even better, because then they're just wasting cards in their deck. And I find when you're trying to go on big runs, this card is just kind of buns. And I do run 1 copy. It does keep your opponent honest at least a little bit. And, I do think it's cool when you see it that one time versus seeing it multiple times over the course of a duel. Okay, so that's the deck list. Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you guys a couple of replays to show you just how crazy some of these cards really are. And let's just start here. This was on my last little leg to get to King of Duels, excuse me. And I'll show you a mirror match, and then I'll show you one duel against, not really anything too crazy. It's the one that tries to lock you out of tribute summoning, but it's very bad. The only decks that really matter, in all intents and purposes, are Dragon and Spellcaster. But Spellcaster is just not as good. It definitely doesn't have as high as a ceiling. That's like definitely its biggest problem. And I didn't really talk about the skill that much when I was going over the deck profile. It does, if you have I think it's an Earth Dragon, so basically any of your tributes. Dragonic Slayer is one of them. The Gravity Press Dragon is an Earth one. And then the Draw a Billion card Sarayuja is another one. This isn't the best opening, to be honest with you. It's okay to see Phantom in your hand. It's really a card you want to see later, right? Because you want your opponent to be loaded with whatever type it is. And that's the problem. It is just very slow. It's just the only battle trap in the game right now. So he's going to set 3 and set 1, which is a pretty good opening. Or actually, he gets rid of his full hand, so he doesn't have a tribute face down. I'm thinking of all the tributes that you can go face down. I don't think anything goes above 1,500, if I'm not mistaken. You get that off the top, the Multistrike Dragon, that's just very, very good. Just because you're going to be able to clear your opponent's board, it just puts so much pressure, right? And your opponent doesn't have as much tribute fodder. You having one more tribute is so important. Like, if you just get that one extra body, the animation is pretty cool. I'll try to speed this up a little bit after this. I figure it's worth showing at least once. So here is Multistrike Dragon. Very nice animation there. And to be able to attack twice. And then having the 1,500 attack vanilla, like I said, is pretty good. Is one of the better vanillas in the game. Dark Sorcerer, pretty much the Spellcaster version of this. Helps you get over anything in defense position. I know that the middle card is the Tribute Summon one, so I'll just be careful there. And it doesn't really matter what it is. That goes to the graveyard. Piles are okay, but yeah, like Dragonic Resonance, of course, is just the best skill. Like, it's bannable, or at least it should be eroded to like a once per duel or something like that. Or at least like until turn 4, something even like crazier than that. But of course, it doesn't. The idea of locking yourself into dragons in your deck is not bad at all. He's going to go ahead and tribute there. I think it puts something in defense position. That's okay. I'm in a very good position right now. And he's going to summon another monster. Yeah. And he's going to put 2 Fire Golems on the board just to poke me a little bit. But to be honest with you, you might even just want to set, one of them at least. Poking me is not great because now you just have 2 bodies that are 1,200 attack. Like, I'm going to be able to, like, absolutely decimate. And I guess that's just, at the end of the day, the pure power of dragons. You'll see just how quickly things go. I'm going to draw a bunch of cards. And there we go. I'm going to be able to draw a gazillion cards to pretty much do whatever I want with my hand here. All right, and there we go. I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 cards here. So I basically get to fix it, okay? And I'm probably going to get rid of the spell, or maybe I'll set it. Depends on what I get. And I'm going to put them right on top. I do want to have obviously the Multistrike in my hand at that point. There goes Dragonic Resonance. Target the 2 cards, and let's go to the battle phase. I'm going to clear his board, of course. And I have 2 really high attack bodies. Or I guess he is going to have one. The Fire Golem doesn't really matter at all. I just want to get rid of the one that obviously puts something in defense position, because that's a very powerful effect. Like a Book of Moon would be nuts. I would imagine probably like a legend card. Although, I don't know. I'm really excited to see what the new sets bring us in terms of legend cards. Right now, they're just vanilla monsters. I don't even think Blue Eyes is in the game. Could be wrong there. I know there's some skill related to it, but never seen how to acquire it, nor have, like, even during the ranked tickets. Okay, he's going to bring out, I think, okay, Kami Ruler, that's fine. This is the one I think that attacks directly, but all my monsters have to be in defense position, so it doesn't really do anything right here. He's just going to be able to clear my best monster. That's pretty much it. He does go for piercing, but, this is what, I mean to talk about this a little bit too. Like, I don't play piercing, which sounds good with Multistrike Dragon, but, again, it's just one of those things where it doesn't really seem worth it, especially dragons when you have 6 cards in your deck that can attack twice. And you will see them, right, over the course of a duel. Unless you just get really unlucky, which you will every once in a while. But let's draw 4 cards. And this is looking pretty good. So I can go ahead and Dragias. This card's absurd, okay? Because I do have the Slugger in the graveyard. All of those, like, tribute materials are just gone. It's better when your opponent has maybe, like, 2 tributes on the board, because that's obviously a ton of their resources. But this is okay. Like, I'm pretty far ahead in life points, or I will be after this. He's only going to have 1,000 left, and you know, I do have the Phantom set as well, so I do have a lot of protection for my life points. That's why I felt comfortable doing this. And here we go. Multistrike Dragon is going to come out. No need to use the effect, right? It's only when you destroy a monster by battle. The fact that it doesn't have to destroy, like the effect isn't to attack another monster, like most restrictions in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! Are. It's just a plain, like, 2 attacks as long as you destroy the first monster, which is really cool. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to game this guy. I'm going to flex a little bit. I kind of just have to. I do have the Dragonic Slayer in the graveyard, so I'll just activate the effective pitch. Add that back to my hand, and let's see what happens here. I'm going to destroy the back row. Doesn't even really matter. I would have had game anyways, but, you know, why not? There goes his back row, and I'm just going to go ahead and normal summon. I don't need to do this either. And I can use the effect of Dragon Resonance. It's not a once per turn. You can use it anytime you want, as long as you have that Earth Dragon on the board. Yeah, might as well, right? You could attack with one, but if your opponent's not going to quit, you might as well, you know, just keep going with it. I think we've all been there. And let me just show you one other replay. A lot of the same things. I didn't have to find a replay to give you the 2 attack, but it is insanely good. I think I actually attribute both of them. It's not really great to see in your opening hand because it has 0 defense. Most of the time it doesn't matter, but if you do get the chance to set a 1400 attack or 1400 defense, monster, it usually works out for you. Going second is insanely advantageous in Rush Duels, just because you get obviously the chance to put attack points on your opponent first. Okay. Yeah, having Raigeki for a big bricky hand is always nice, but this is pretty good. Obviously going second especially, but it doesn't really matter. It's setting the Raigeki isn't the worst thing in the world. Here comes Gravity Press Dragon. You just want to use as many cards in your hand as possible when you're starting out in Rush Duels. Or the first 3 turns or so. Getting a damage in on your opponent too is great, but it's not always going to happen. Clearing their board is more putting the pressure hey, you better, you're going to have to reset all your tribute fodder over and over again, and eventually it's not going to be perfect. Yeah, when you see Phoenix Dragon early, it kind of stinks too. You want to draw it late and be able to kind of pick and choose what monster you need out of the graveyard. And here he's just not going to be able to use anything. He's going to go for Gravity Press Dragon. Yeah, so this is the mirror. I don't think that he gets to Piercing Dragon, or maybe he doesn't have it. The only way to get it, again, is through ranked tickets. Well, here we go. I mean, this is what you're going to see in ranked a lot. And when you're not using it, it is very, very frustrating, for sure. Especially when you get hit with the Raigeki, because just no other archetype can do that at all. Anything remotely similar. And here we go. See, this hand's a little bit awkward, but I'm going to go ahead and bring this back. I do have a lot of tributes in my hand, so that's pretty cool. Especially, when I'm going to be able to draw a couple cards. All I need to see is a small dude, and being able to draw 2 cards is almost a guarantee. You're going to be able to do that. I would imagine it's a 90% chance, for sure. So there we go. I find a small guy, and that way I can get my double tribute off, and also destroy his back row in the process. Right? Every other archetype cannot destroy back row. And it doesn't come into monster either, right? That's what I really mean to say. Hammer Crush does exist, but you're not discarding a card. You're not even doing anything. There's no cost to Dragonic Slayer, which is amazing. So just like him, I'm going to use the same thing. This card's so good. It's 2300 attack. It's just amazing. It's just such a good card. It is it could be banned for sure. I could see that happening easily. All right, I think he's just going to basically not find anything. He is going to get his own to draw 1 card. I don't think he finds what he's looking for, and he's going to boost the attack. It's not going to be enough to get close to them, and then that's obviously the end of the game. I can go into Multistrike Dragon, and I think I can just normal summon here. And this is where it's nice, right, to have these decently vanilla monsters with 1400 attack. Both of those are going to gain a gazillion. So it's crazy how fast you can end games. I'm pretty sure I do here. I think it's got, yeah, for sure. I'm going to be able to get everything. And just like that, 4,000 life points are gone. He did have all his monsters in attack position. He kind of went all out, which of course he kind of has to. But yeah, you can just see how amazing. There's just not a lot of decks in Rush Duels right now that can do that at all. But yeah, that is going to do it for this deck profile. A little bit of gameplay for my King of Duels run. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that's going to do it for today's video. And I will see you guys next time.